Hey guys, it's your boy APT, and today I'm here to review part 2 of Justin Timberlake's opus, The 2020 Experience.
Come on, use me up until there's nothing left. Take back the night. Dizzy, spinning, sweating, you can't catch your breath.
Now, as you guys know, Justin Timberlake released part 1 of the 2020 Experience earlier this year, and I reviewed that album back in March. Now, at the time, I gave that album a 9 out of 10, and what I said at the time was it was a great album. It was good to have Justin back. It was a little more slower paced than some of his previous albums, but overall, it had a good general feel to it, and I liked it. So, when he released the album, like the day he released it, he said he was going to be releasing a part 2 in the fall, and all I could think was, oh my God, could this get any better? Like, the songs on the 2020 Experience Part 1 were pretty darn good. Could he possibly top himself with Part 2? Well, it leaked. I got a chance to listen to it. And let me tell you guys, I don't even know what to say. Like, just how good this album is basically indescribable. Like, I listened to it and song after song after song. There was not one single song on this album that I wanted to skip through. If I had to try to describe how this album is, picture like the best parts of Justified and the best parts of Future Sex Love Sounds and even the best parts of 2020 Experience Part 1, as well as a few best ofs from his NSYNC days, mash them all together, and then you have this album. This is like the pinnacle Justin Timberlake album that everybody needs to have. If you've ever liked any of his stuff and felt that some of his albums were, good in pockets and parts, or that, there were like 8 songs that you liked, but then there were like 4 songs that you didn't like, get this album. Every song on here is a banger. Now, that doesn't mean that all the songs are fast, but what I mean is each of these songs have their own personal feel to them, while at the same time contributing to the cohesiveness of the album. It's fantastic. The first song on here, Give Me What I Don't Know I Want.
Come in, give me what I don't know. I want. Come in.
It feels similar to the opening of Future Sex Love Sounds in terms of the tempo of the beat, but it starts off the album perfectly because it goes from that song to the next song called True Blood.
She's got that true blood. Baby, I just do it for the thrill of you.
Of course, this album's produced by Timberlake, so it's got the typical Timberlake snaps and the drum, but it's just a banger. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, the first 6 songs of this album, I kid you not, it's back to back to back bangers, fast songs, up-tempo. You could literally set this on at a party, and for the first 50 minutes of the album, just play it nonstop, and each song could keep the party going. He's got guest appearances by Drake on one of the songs called Cabaret.
We might fuck around and slip tonight. Your kryptonite should probably have a cape to throw on my Eddie Murphy boomerang for you. Got a bunch of old girls that I'll throw away for you.
And of course, Jay-Z comes back for another song in here called Murder.
She got that Yoko Ono. You know that that made John Lennon go solo. Know that gotta be lethal. If that Pepsi broke up the Beatles.
Even the slow song on this album, some of the songs on the last album, they were cool, but they had kind of that Coldplay-ish feel where like the song is playing and it just seems to drag on and on. And he had a lot of songs in that last album that were like 8 to 9 minutes. Whereas on this album, most of the songs tend to peter around the 5.5 to 7 minute mark. So you don't really get too tired of the songs. Also of note, unlike the last album, there are not a lot of songs in here that switch up mid-tempo through the song. And I think a lot of times he did that on the first album because he realized that some of the songs he was making, the beats that he was using for those songs couldn't carry over a full 7 or 8 minutes. Whereas on this one, the beats that he uses are perfect. You can have one song go for like 7 minutes and it be the same beat and you don't get tired of it because it's up-tempo, you're dancing. It just feels like the beats he chose for this album specifically were ones that he could vibe with throughout the course of the entire song. But like I was getting to, the slow songs on this album, they don't feel so emo-ish and not so Coldplay-ish. They feel more like traditional R&B songs, which as a result, actually make the slow songs on here work a lot better than they did on the previous album. The first slow song that pops up is called Drink You Away.
I can't drink you, no, I can't drink you away.
Where he's talking about losing a lover and trying to drink the pain away. And it sounds like an old country / Baptist church type song, but it's one of those songs where if you're going through it, you're gonna pop it on your MP3 player or your CD player and just sing along to it because it just has that kind of emotion to it. And the beat's awesome, it's a nice slow tempo, but it's one that just almost has like a twang to it to where you can sing along and you're just feeling that pain, y'all. Another song he has in here that's kind of slow but more of like a rockish type anthem is Only When I Walk Away.
She loves me now, she loves me now, she loves me now, but only when I
talks about, you know, a girl only feeling things for him when he decides he's about to leave the relationship. It almost reminded me of like Dirty Diana, not in terms of like the same type of subject matter, but in terms of like the rock beat and the guitars and the drums coming in. Like it has that kind of pace similar to Dirty Diana, where you'll just be listening to it and be like, yes, I want to rock out to this. This is awesome. What I liked most about this album was the pacing of the album, because, you know, the last one, you'd have like a couple of songs that were up-tempo, and then you go into a slow song. And that's great for some albums, but other times I want to be able to hear like, you know, a bunch of fast-paced tunes, and then have it kind of gradually start to slow down. And that's what this one did. So like I said, the first 6 songs, they're nice, they're faster up-tempo. Around the 7th song, you start kind of getting a little bit slower, then it perks back up again with the rock song. And then the last 2 songs on the album, one of them sounds kind of like an old NSYNC song called Not a Bad Thing.
It's not a bad thing to fall in love with me.
And that song almost kind of has that pop type of feel that he used to sing back in the day when he was with the other 4 members of NSYNC. It's nice to have 1 or 2 songs like that on an album where it's like a throwback song, but it's not the whole album, because he knows he can't realistically go back to those days again. But it's nice to see him be able to realize that he had a fan base for those kind of songs, and he's putting one of those on his album. And then the last song on the album is a song called Pair of Wings. It's actually a hidden track right after Not a Bad Thing.
And if I had a pair of wings, I'd pick you up and fly you.
And it's an acoustic song where Justin Timberlake is simply just playing the guitar and singing about the love of his life. And I'm actually glad that he ended the album this way instead of putting a song like this midway through, because if he had put it midway through, it would have messed up the flow of the album. But here, it's like you've been listening to the album for about 1 hour and 14 minutes, and you're kind of ready for things to die down. And this is kind of like the perfect song for the album to end on. So, I don't know what else to say, man. Like, this is one of the few albums that I've heard in a long, long time that I'm able to go through the entire album. There's not a whole lot of things bugging me about any of the particular songs. The slow songs are great. The fast songs are fantastic. And the energy of the album just makes me happy. Like I listen to it and I just want to just keep dancing nonstop and singing. And I thought part 1 was going to be just like the end-all be-all album that he could do that was just fantastic. And then he went and topped himself with the 2020 Experience Part 2. Does it even need to be said? This album gets a 10 out of 10. Like, this is going to be the album you're going to be bumping way up until he decides to release his next album, whenever that may be. So I recommend you download it. I recommend you buy it. I recommend that you freaking get the deluxe bonus edition. I recommend that you go to the freaking concert that he's got coming out this year, because given how this album sounds, like I saw Justin Timberlake and Jay-Z this summer, and I was like, I saw JT this year, I'm good. And then I heard this album, I'm about to go scout me a ticket for his next show right now. That's all I got for today. I'm APT. Thank you so much for watching this review, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
With a TKO. Hey.